Hey guys, welcome to the Comedy and Custody podcast. I'm Sasha Frank.
I'm Nebulous Niang.
That's comedy because we are both stand-up comedians.
And it's custody because we are both single moms.
We are, not because we are convicts.
Not yet?
Not
right?
yet.
Okay.
So we have been talking about doing this podcast forever, for as long as we have known each other.
Which I'm not sure how long that is.
Is it like 2.5 years? I think it's like 2.5 years.
I am so bad with numbers.
Let's just say it's been 20 years. We'll round up.
Yeah.
Just like in our 20 years, give or take, of friendship is 2 years.
Yes. And during those 20 years, maybe about 80% of the time we've been talking about doing the podcast.
We've always been like, we must do a podcast.
Because we are great.
Because we think we're funny.
Yeah, we deserve to be invading people's minds.
And also because we've got like a lot of life experience.
Right, so
much. But also because we are both 40 now.
Yes,
so
almost 41 for me.
When are you going to be 41?
Like in a week or two?
Oh, I definitely knew that. I definitely knew that. Yeah, of course. So both 40. So it's like 80 years of life experience.
Yes.
And like some genuine trauma, sadly.
Yeah, and we have used humor to overcome.
We have used humor to overcome.
Almost.
Yeah. I don't, because everyone talks about this. They're like, are you a stand-up comedian to get through your trauma? I think I'm not.
Okay.
I think I just like making jokes. But I don't know. Maybe I've got so much trauma I can't recognize the truth. But what about you?
Well, I think I'm the opposite. Because I definitely would never have started stand-up if not for all the stuff I've been through. And like I think even just doing stand-up, I've managed to work through a lot of the issues that you have been pushing down.
Me personally pushing my own
issues. Pushing out your issues.
I have. Fair.
But it's fine because that makes you funnier than me.
I don't know. I know. See, I think that you're the funnier one. And you have a lot more material than I do. Yeah. You're very good for sitting down and writing.
But you're like able to like get the crowd going, you know?
It's I do. I like a bit of crowd work.
Yeah.
I like a bit of interaction. I think it's because in real life I feel like I'm always so nice. So it's my opportunity to just like mess with people a bit. It's the inner school bully that I never was because I was like so, as everybody. I don't want to be a bully, by the way. Just
no, you're not a bully. But, you're just like, you have to let it out.
Yes, that's my outlet. Obviously.
Also, for the people who are not so familiar with comedy, there's like crowd work and then there's like material.
Yes.
So crowd work is when you kind of more organically interact with the audience.
Yes.
And the material is when you've written stuff and you have a script and you know what you're going to say.
Exactly. And when I first started out, like I wrote so much. But then I started to find it tricky because, as we said, single mums, I started to find it tricky time-wise. Was very lucky because I was getting booked on shows and then I wasn't finding time to write. Luckily then like the crowd work side of it picked up for me. And you are so good at finding time to write. And like I'm so jealous because I have all these notes in my phone and I just have yet to turn them into anything tangible.
Well, I think we're just complementary that way because I've always found it so hard to just be organic, like impromptu, because that's my safe space, right? Like I sit down and I write things, and like a good Singaporean student, I just like memorize all the stuff and I say it in a certain way, and it's just basically a storytelling competition from grade school.
Okay.
Right. And so this year to improve my stand-up, I want to be more like you. I want to be better at crowd work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I want to be more like you and write some more and have because you have a special that sells out pretty much every time you do it.
Yes, I do.
Which is amazing.
Yes,
and it's it's an hour?
Yeah, it's an hour-long special. So I call it Slow-Mo Sexual because basically it's a story of how I took a really long time to come out to myself. So I'm queer, I'm a lesbian. It's not fashionable to use the word lesbian anymore.
Is it not?
Like I've been told
it's not like homophobic though.
Yeah, no, it's not. Okay. It's just not fashionable. Like now you're like queer, but anyway.
Okay, but you can still be you haven't got to stop being a lesbian.
No. Okay, I'm just gonna be a lesbian unfashionably.
An unfashionable lesbian.
I mean that's the only kind.
Okay. Oh, I see. Okay. So in the eyes of Gen Z, are you cooler or am I cooler? Because I am not a lesbian. I wish I was a lesbian.
I think this is it's an inherently unanswerable question philosophically because Gen Z is not, they don't even use the word cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean,
so
do
like
they use words? They use words though, yeah.
They use words which sound like words, but they're
Okay.
not. Yeah.
I don't know any of vibe. Do they use vibe? I don't know. That sounds like a millennial term.
I think they use the term like sigma.
Sigma.
Yeah, like a sigma. Like, there's like alpha and beta and sigma.
Okay.
And like sigma is better than alpha.
Sigma is better than alpha.
Yeah,
okay.
It's like the Greek sign sigma.
Yeah.
But like, if you were to tell your daughter
Yeah.
that you're sigma, she
Okay.
would leave home.
Okay, but
Yeah.
use it in a sentence.
Oh my god, like that's so sigma.
But is it good or bad?
It's a good thing.
Oh, it's a good thing. Sigma's a good. Oh my god. See, I'm even less.
It's better than alpha. It's like
Cool.
someone who does not care what anyone thinks about them, and they're just like slaying.
Oh, okay.
So that's like sigma. Like sigma, people do not ask their children if they think they're cool.
Oh, I am
It's
not
like fundamentally,
Sigma.
yeah, no, neither am I.
I'm not Sigma. I am. Wow, I'm learning so much.
Yeah.
Because we've got kids the same age.
Yeah,
so
yeah, we
my
do.
daughter's 11. You have.
Mine are 11 and 13.
Okay, so same kind of ages. But I
Yeah.
think your kids are much more in the Gen Z culture from what, because you're cooler than I am, probably. Or you talk to your children more than I do. I just don't know. I don't know. But yeah, so I don't have a lot of this.
Maybe she still respects you, and so she just does not speak to you instead of like being sassy,
That is an optimistic statement.
Yeah,
She still respects me for now. Right now, she still respects me.
Yeah.
Wow.
What can we say except what is for now?
It's well, we'll talk about the kids later, but let's talk about like how we got into comedy.
Yes,
so you said you got divorced.
Yes. So well, I didn't get divorced because of comedy, but
No.
like, it happened. It's been a while. It's been like 7-8 years.
Mm-hmm.
And after the divorce, well, actually, yeah, I think I had a lot more time to myself to figure out for myself who I was, because I got married really young.
Yeah. How old were you when you got married?
I was 24.
Oh wow, that is even younger than when I got married.
How old were you?
26. It's
Okay.
either way. It's
and we're born in the same year. We're both 1984.
1984. Yeah.
Like Orwellian. So I got married really young, and it was to my first boyfriend. And that always turns out so well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it seems romantic at the time, but then you're like, shit. So okay, so we got married, and then we had 2 children, also really young. So I had mine when I was like 27 and 30.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I had mine at 28. So
yeah. So okay, we have pretty similar
yeah.
stories, just on the other side of the world. Yeah, and so I feel like, when you get together with someone when you're so young, you don't even know what you really want, and then you're both basically still kids, and you haven't figured out who you are independent of that person.
So true. Yes.
Yeah. So I guess after the divorce, and even just like leading up to the divorce, you kind of realize, hey, is this what I really want? Is this really me? Or like, what part of me is me and not somebody else, right? Yeah. So I think then I got more used to just like finding my own voice, and yeah, so then I could come out to myself as an unfashionable lesbian.
You just looked in the mirror one day and just said, I have to admit it to myself. I'm just unfashionable.
Yeah. There was the unfashionable part, and then there was the lesbian part. And
that was easier to take.
Yeah. It was. Yeah, and then, you start to date around, and you realize that, well, a lot of people are not for me.
Did you date only women when you were first divorced?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, it was like the best thing and also the worst thing.
Okay.
But we can talk about that later on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you realize what you want, and get used to like expressing yourself. But more specifically, how I got into comedy. It just came. I know this sounds kind of weird, but it was like almost divinely inspired.
Okay.
Yeah, like I'm not a religious person, but like most unfashionable lesbians, I am spiritual.
You're very spiritual. She's very spiritual. I mean, I'm the whatever the opposite of spiritual is what I am.
That's why we get along.
Yeah, like if I can't see it, I don't believe in it. That's it.
Yeah, and like okay, so so I was doing one of those like self-help courses, which you do when you are 40 and just like life is shit. So I was writing down. They make you write down 3 things that you want to be, right? So number 1, I want to be a good mom. Number 2, I want to be a good partner. And number 3, it was a blank, and suddenly it just came. Like, I want to be a stand-up comedian.
Oh, no way.
It just
I didn't
came,
know this.
and it's not
Okay.
like I'd ever done it before. I just like watching stand-up.
Yeah.
And it just came, and I wrote it down. And then the interesting thing is, the next day, they make you look at what you wrote that previous day,
Yeah.
cancel everything out, and then write down a scary version of what you just wrote. So like if on the first day you wrote, I want to hike, right?
Yeah.
The next day you're supposed to cancel it out and write, I want to climb Mount Everest.
Wow, okay.
So for the stand-up one, I just canceled, I want to be a stand-up comedian, and I wrote, I want to be an internationally renowned stand-up comedian.
Wow.
And this is all before like stepping on the stage or anything.
Okay.
And so once you've written that down, you're like, okay, I got to start, right? So, you know, I signed up to the open mic and just went on, and it's just been nonstop since then.
I did not know this.
Yeah.
Oh
see?
my God.
Right. I knew we'd get to something good.
That's amazing. I love it.
Yeah. And that was like, I forget, was it like 2 or 3 years ago?
It was pretty much
maybe 2.5.
It was about 2.5, 3 years.
And how about you?
So mine was like forever. I wanted to be a stand-up comedian. I remember sitting in my bed being maybe 6 years old writing stand-up. So this is like, sometimes I feel like people assume I just woke up one morning and was like, oh, what shall I do with my white privilege today? I'm going to tell some jokes. But that is not true. I've been an actress since I was 2. I wanted to do stand-up literally my whole life. I was obsessed with it. I would sit up and watch shows that I probably wasn't old enough to watch. Like Sasha Baron Cohen, Ricky Gervais, I think it was called the 11 o'clock show years back. Then I went to university to do a drama degree because they had a comedy writing element. And I can't remember what happened because I'm very old, but the comedy writing element wasn't happening or something. And I switched degrees and I did a history and Spanish degree because they were the other things I knew stuff about. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, don't ask me to speak any Spanish, but I do have a Spanish degree. Went into my corporate job, which I still have, got married, etc. Got divorced, got back into acting. But for some reason, like stand-up comedy, it was always something I wanted to do, but I didn't do it. And I cannot tell you why I didn't do it. It was just like, I just didn't. And then I went through this like god-awful breakup. Not my divorce, that was awful as well, but like a different breakup later on, 2022. And I went back to London because I was just heartbroken. And I was like, what am I going to do to pick myself back up when I get back to Singapore? I'm going to do stand-up. Like, I'm finally going to do it. You know, I've been waiting and waiting. And I went to see, I didn't do it immediately. I got on some of the WhatsApp groups for the open mics. And then I went to see a show, Ratchman Blake show in Singapore over at Blue Jazz. And he had brought local comics up on the stage. So I went over to him and was like, how long are you here for? Could I come on stage next time you do this show? I don't know what gave me the audacity to do that. But he was like, yeah, sure.
It was divinely inspired.
Yeah, well, sure it was. So I went away and it was like a week later and I was not going to do it. I was like, obviously, I'm not actually going to do it. And I did it. I wrote 3 minutes, which I've never performed since, but I don't think they were too terrible. And that was it. And I did my first 3 minutes and I was addicted. And now here we are, 3-ish years later with 1 million hours of stage time and everything else, and like I just love it. I'm just obsessed. And does this ever happen to you? I don't know, because sometimes like I'll go and do a show, particularly if it's midweek and I'm tired, I've been at work and I'm like, oh, I just want to sit on my sofa, I don't want to do this. And then I get on stage and I'm like, I don't want to be anywhere else but here. Like, of course I want to do this.
Yes.
Do you have this as well?
Yes, but I feel like I'm not as active about getting stage time as you, at least not in the past few months. So I know exactly how it feels, because you'll be like, you know, the day of, you'll be like, why did I sign up for this? I regret. Yes. You know, I do not strictly have to do this.
Right? Yeah.
Right? And then you turn up and then it's like bang, 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 bang.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay.
It's the best feeling in the world.
I cannot live with this. Sounds unhealthy.
It is. It's just, then 50 people applaud and look at me and applaud, and suddenly I feel better. It's true. It's really true.
Yeah.
It's it's a lot of fun though. Like, it's a really amazing thing, and I think, like, I get a bit preachy now with people who are going through a tough time, or maybe getting divorced or not, about like, find a hobby, because it will literally change your life. But it's so easy to say, because our hobby is what it is. But that doesn't mean that everybody necessarily has a passion like this, or if they do, maybe it's not as accessible. So I do nonetheless, like, really encourage everybody, if you are having a tough time, like, find your people, find your hobby. But I know it's such an old lady, such a cliche like statement, but I stand by it.
But also, like, I don't think I feel like us doing stand-up as a hobby is kind of troublesome for our friends.
Yeah,
because like not every hobby requires you to badger your friends for to come up with money for tickets, and like
right.
it's the only thing is, like, if you were a financial advisor,
Yes.
yeah, that's like slightly worse.
Yeah.
But we're same kind of level of people don't want to be our friends.
Yeah, and the bigger problem, right, is what if you get a friend that does have a hobby, but what if it's like tap dancing?
Yeah.
Like, what if your best friend starts tap dancing and they're like, well, I've been to 50 of your comedy shows.
Yeah, and then
you've got to come and watch me go like tap dancing.
Well, but like, I feel like even tap dancing is not that bad. Like, it could be worse. It could be like, I don't know, like Gregorian Chant.
The oboe.
Both together.
Yeah.
No, listen, really, like when I was married, right? I don't know how, but my then husband, he fell into bad company of these people who, no joke, did Gregorian Chant.
Fell into bad company, and then it sounds like he was in a drug ring, but Gregorian
this was
chant.
only slightly better.
Okay. So I'm not entirely clear what Gregorian chant is.
No, let me tell you what Gregorian chant is.
Please do it.
So Gregorian chant, from my 1 hour of exposure, which is enough.
Okay.
Basically, okay, imagine, like, close your eyes, okay, and bring yourself back to the 12th century. Okay, 12th century, there are no phones, there's no internet.
Right.
And like, you're a peasant. You
I like that the reference for the 12th century, there was no phones and internet. Otherwise, it was exactly the same.
No, it was basically the same. I mean, we're still peasants, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah, you're a peasant.
Right, I'm a peasant.
There's nothing much to look forward. Okay, you're not just a peasant, you're a serf. Okay, you're a serf. You wake up in a bed of straw with like cockroaches and like plague things.
Okay.
And the only thing you look forward to in life is going to church on Sundays.
Okay.
But church ain't all that great, right? It's like, stones. Like a church made up of stone.
Okay.
There's no heating.
Right.
There's no heating. But still, this is the only form of entertainment.
Right.
Which will be the Gregorian monks.
Okay.
And they're fully clothed. They're not ripped. Okay, they're just like regular.
They're not hot.
They're not
hot. Okay.
They may. I mean, in a divine sense, they may be hot.
Okay.
But in our physical realm, no. Not hot.
No. Okay.
Okay, so they're probably balding.
So they're balding, not hot, no phones, no internet.
And probably they have not showered.
Okay.
Okay, but they're all on stage. And so this is the only entertainment you're going to get in your life.
Right.
And they chant like... for 5 hours.
Okay.
And this is like orgasmic for a peasant.
For the peasants. Okay.
Surf, for a peasant surf.
Okay. All right.
In the 12th, did I say 12th century?
You did. Yeah.
Yeah. So somehow this has remained relevant.
Okay.
Into the modern era.
Right.
And people, rent out Victoria Concert Hall to like do it in groups to their friends.
Wow. So look, if this is your hobby, like legit, if this is your hobby, I love that for you. I might not come to watch because I'm super busy, but I do nonetheless encourage it. Cool. Okay, so your ex-husband was doing this?
No. I mean, that would have probably been better because the divorce would have come faster.
Yeah.
But this was just his bad company.
Oh, he had a friend. He had
friends.
Yeah.
So like, he was like, let's turn up for my friends, my colleagues.
Yeah.
And so I went in open-minded,
Yeah.
as I do.
Yeah.
As I do.
You do. Yeah.
I do. And about like 10 minutes in, I had not yawned so much. In my face was wet. Like my face was wet, and I was trying not to yawn too loudly.
Oh my
God.
God.
My face was like soaked.
This is hilarious.
Right? It was soaked, and it was like 10 minutes in of a 3-hour performance. And I started leaving my body. Like, and I was like, surely what is the meaning of life?
Okay. Yeah,
and I feel like I entered a different realm.
Okay.
So on hindsight, I think it was a good thing.
Yeah.
It was a very good lesson.
In thank God we have internet and phones.
Yeah, and the power of faith.
Sure. Okay. Wow.
So yeah. 10 out of 10 recommend. 2 thumbs up.
Okay. You go and let me know how it is.
Okay. I mean, they might still be alive.
It's who might still be alive?
The Gregorian chanters of the modern era.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You could probably find it on Spotify.
I'm all right, thanks.
It's free. You pay for it.
Hopefully you can find this on Spotify.
Yeah.
This, our conversation.
I should hope so.
I would hope so.
We will figure it out.
We will.
You're listening to this on Spotify.
I know. If you're listening to this on Spotify, we figured it out. Don't switch us off and put the Gregorian, whatever the chant is on. Wait till we finished, and then you can listen to them next. But so we said we were going to talk for like about 30 minutes, which we've kind of done.
Have we?
We kind of have.
Oh my God.
Yes. So what else? Is there anything else we want to cover?
No, we can save more juicy things.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And better hobbies.
Well, I don't know, because we've put everybody onto the Gregorian chanting now. No one's ever going to want to come back and listen to us.
We'll just have to work hard.
I just want to clarify again also, if that is your thing, it's so awesome for you.
Please come for our shows.
Also, please come for our shows.
Even if they're into Gregorian chant.
Yeah. We could have a Gregorian chanter open for us.
Yeah.
One day.
Why not?
Many reasons why not. Okay, so
get the energy right now. Make some noise.
Make some noise. Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Okay, are we done with our...
Well, so I wanted to promo Never Date a Comedian.
Please do.
Can I talk about Never Date a Comedian?
Yes, please.
Really so I run a show. It's called Never Date a Comedian. I run it all over the world. And it is, we have 4 comedians come on each night, and they are single. They're genuinely single. And we help them to win a date with an audience member. And they do this through just being funny and just that, really, just funny. But it's a great show, and it sells out like most of the time we do it.
It does.
It's about to go to the Perth Fringe this week. It's going to go to the Melbourne Comedy Festival. But it's coming to Singapore. I mean, it's been done many times in Singapore. Every show sells out, which is amazing. I think it's going to be March time. I will, for our next podcast, check exactly what the date is. But it's coming in March, and it's going to be awesome. So please, if you're a single person particularly, you can go on my Instagram. It's Sasha Frank Comedy. We have a Never Date a Comedian Instagram, which is Never Date a Comedian, and you'll see the next show times, and you can watch some clips of it. So I just wanted to plug that. What do you want to plug, my love?
Well, I will be going with Sasha to the Perth Fringe. I will. So I'm just going to check out the scene there. If you're in Australia, if you're in Perth, say hi. I want to stage my 1-hour comedy special, Slow-Mo Sexual, all over the world. I'm trying to figure out the venues, the timing. I'm going to be in Edinburgh in August this year. So all good things.
Lots of exciting things happening. All right, guys. Well, this has been the Comedy and Custody podcast. I have been Sasha Frank.
I've been Nebulous Niang.
Please come back, listen to us again. This was our first attempt. We hope you loved it. and we will talk to you again very soon.
And if they have any questions,
oh yes, if you have questions for us, or just something you want to talk about or get off your chest or anything, let us know. Send it to us via Instagram is probably the best way. Sasha Frank Comedy. So it's Sasha _Frank _comedy, and I don't know if I'm supposed to say the underscores.
You know, it will turn up.
It will turn up.
We have the internet.
We have internet.
Yeah,
we are not Gregorian
chanters.
No. So yeah, send us or.
And mine is Nebulous Niang, NEBULOUS NIANG. I will explain it in another show.
Yes.
See ya.